my work office.
What's that a quote from?
It was the Dan Patrick Show. All flustered. Here we go. It's the Positively Petland Show on 800 KXIC, Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock. Ron Souls, Rude, co-owner of Petland, Iowa City, East Side, over in the marketplace, otherwise known formerly as the Sycamore Mall, which it will never probably, we were just talking about that, it will probably never lose that formerly Sycamore Mall, name.
Right. Well, it's just like everybody that's local here knows what was in the building that Petland is in right now.
Randall's Grocery.
Yeah. And so everybody knows it. That's cool. That's history. Have you ever been? Yeah, you were at Europe. The first thing when Wendy and I went to Europe, I don't know, it was over 20 years ago, probably now. I noticed history was the thing. Even on the plane, as you're going in, we were flying into Frankfurt, Germany, castles and stuff like that. Did you have that same feeling when you came in? Gosh, there's actually history here compared to America, which is, we're just so new. So it's fun to know the history of things.
I agree. What's the breed of the week?
We're going to hit, I keep on using the word, I don't know why, Dalmation. Is that the right breed for you? Because we know them from, they're in the firehouses, as per the movies. And then Disney loves the Dalmatian and a lot of them. So we're going to review the Dalmatian, and you're going to find that it's not the right pet for everybody, but it definitely is a really great breed.
I was just going to say that it is a great breed, but it does take a special personality to be able to have it, because it's got some pretty interesting quirks.
Yeah. And it's a large breed dog. So just prefacing all of this, if you're at all like, I don't know if this dog thing is for me, go for a small breed. Anything that's happening, whether they get into mischief or whatever they're doing, running around, a smaller breed is always less as far as all that goes. They're small, so they can't run as fast and all that kind of stuff. If they got a bad habit that you're working on training, it tends to be a smaller issue with a smaller breed. When you get into larger breeds, everything kind of gets amplified a little bit. So the Dalmatian definitely falls into that larger breed category. So right now I'm just going over the Petland, iowacity.com. Under the breed section, I migrate over to Dalmation, so you can do the same thing. I got all of the breeds listed there, so you can get a nice little snapshot of the different breeds that are available out there. The breed then that we're looking at is the Dalmatian, and so I'm just going to read through it real quick. The only spotted breed, the Dalmatian, is alert and active, possessing great endurance. So large breed with great endurance means it'll run a long ways for a long time. Speed and intelligent. So intelligence means they're going to be easier to train. Their working and sporting heritage makes them suitable as both a family pet, and we're going to learn a little bit later on, family pet, but make sure you get them as a puppy. This breed is one of those specific ones that you want to do, or performance animal. And they are often found in the show, obedience, and agility rings, or galloping alongside a horse as a coach dog in road trails. Their short coat is white with black or liver brown spots. The history of the Dalmatian spotted dogs have appeared throughout history in Europe, Asia, and Africa, credited with 12 nationalities and as many native names. So we're going to find out just now that the Dalmatian comes from a lot of different breeds. The dog we know today as a Dalmatian has been a dog of war, a draft dog, shepherd, ratter, fire apparatus follower, firehouse mascot, bird dog, trailhound, retriever. Most importantly, he is the original and only coaching dog. His affinity for horses remains a basic instinct of this breed of this day, and the breed is a natural follower and guardian of the horse-drawn vehicle. That's pretty cool. Temperament, it is a fun-loving, people-oriented Dalmatian, thrives in a family environment. Let's get some caveats. The breed's short coat sheds almost year-round, but regular brushing helps minimize the shedding. The Dalmatian is great with kids, but needs a little work with other dogs. It's best to introduce the Dalmatian as a puppy to new environments. So the Dalmatian is one of those breeds where I would say, here, I have a term called pack intensive, and this is not anything technical. It's just when dogs tend to be protective of their families, um, I just call it pack intensive. It's not anything technical or anybody did any research, but I just noticed that they'll protect the pack from unknown threats. And so as you're walking around and everything, well, my dog is just the nicest dog ever to my family, but it has been aggressive towards other dogs and maybe some other people. The Dalmatian is mildly in that direction, maybe not as severe as some other breeds, but the way you work around all that is through socialization, especially as a young puppy, and the Dalmatian follows into that. So you get them at a young age, you want to expose them to the neighbors, the friends, other dogs very quickly so that it understands that all of them are part of their pack. And that way, as it grows older, it goes, oh, yeah, another part of my pack. I love this one, kind of a thing. So that's critical for Dalmatian, but it's also critical for other dogs. A Shih Tzu, which I consider the easiest dog ever, still can fall in that path if you don't socialize your little Shih Tzu on other dogs and other people. Let's see, AKC recognized them back in 1888. That's a nice long lineage there. Their range in size is 19 to 23 inches tall at the shoulder. Environment, they're saying here, and you don't see this too much, apartments, not so much. So this is not a real good apartment dwelling dog because of the energy level that you're going to need to get out, let them run around and all. And then high activity, just consider that's going to have high activity indoors. Again, you're going to need to dog proof your house with a Dalmatian. So a Dalmatian might even be considered one of those advanced dogs, something that's great with people that have already experienced dogs, trained dogs, and all that kind of a thing. Especially if you grew up with a Dalmatian, you're probably going to be, oh, that's what I want as a breed going forward as well. Exercise is moderate to vigorous daily. We learned about it is a shedding dog, but it is a short hair dog. So frequent brushing, especially with that furminator, is going to help you out with the shedding. Bathing, they're saying it's not a big deal, especially with short hair dogs. I find that they don't need as many baths because it just kind of the way their coat runs, it just the dirt kind of comes off and everything. So infrequent bathing, seasonal to year-around shedding is what you're going to experience with that breed. So that is the Dalmatian. And we have a beautiful little Dalmatian in our store right now, and so you can check that one out and determine, is that the right pet for your family?
I like Dalmatians.
Cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're quirky and they do take a little bit of effort,
Yeah, it's not a dog that you can wing it.
right?
You got to be purposeful with the Dalmatian. That's where the Shih Tzu, I think a lot of people wing it. And they go, and it's a wonderful dog, it still is, because it's such a social dog. The Shih Tzu is one of those breeds that actually was bred to be a pet, in royalty, in fact, in kingdoms and stuff like that. So moving on to ferrets. How much time do we have?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, we got some time here. I love it. Ferrets so you have some experience with friends with ferrets and stuff? Yeah. And you said, yeah, you've noticed that they can have some personalities on them. I know I grew up with a ferret. I was in that family that begged mom and dad, us 5 kids, begged mom and dad for a dog. Can we have a dog? I brought puppies, beagles, home as litters. And my mom said, I've got 5 kids. I don't have time for a dog. And was told that I had to get it back out to the farm. And so we finally one day were talking to mom and dad, and it was specifically Dave and I. And Dave was actually more the leader on this one. He said, well, how about a ferret? And all of a sudden, mom and dad went, we can deal with a ferret. And we both our jaws dropped, and we said, let's go to the pet store now. We got to get a ferret. And so we got a ferret that day, and Fret was his name. We both Dave and I played guitar, and so we thought Fret was a cool name because of ferret and the fret on a guitar and all that kind of stuff. And we just loved him. We found that Fret was extremely social, loved whenever we had him in a cage in our family room. And we were responsible for cleaning and all that kind of stuff. And every time we came in there, Fret wanted to play. And we had all sorts of games that we would play with Fret, and where he'd run around and he'd do what we call the humpy back. And he was just happy, kind of a thing. And so we'd just be interactive with them the whole time. Ferrets are known for taking small trinkets as well. And so that was another game that we would play. And they tend to always put them in the same spot. So that's the good news. But if you don't know where the spot is, bummer, because they're going to take your keys and stuff if you leave them around. So a little more into the detail of ferrets, the nutritional side of ferrets. They are a carnivore. They eat meat, and that's what they love. And so the proper nutrition is really critical. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, cat food is just as good. Actually, cat food is not just as good as pure ferret foods. And all you got to do is flip the bag over and look at the ingredients. What you're going to find is ferret food has primarily meat source, plus a lot of different vitamins and stuff like that to keep it rounded. If you look at a cat diet, you're going to see a lot more grains. They are less grains than a dog, but they still have grains in their bags of food, and ferrets are not going to do well with that. So also people that think that cats are the same thing as ferrets, just their digestive system is pretty significantly different. On a cat, it's going to take 4 to 6 hours for it to digest and all that kind of stuff. For a ferret, it is under 2 hours. So just there alone says, hey, get the ferret diet because that's appropriate for the ferret. You're going to see they're going to do a lot better on it as well. So diet is important. Treats, even on the treat side, get ferret-focused treats, and you're going to find that they're all protein-based. I've got a couple of those in my store, but in the studio right now, the ferret diet, I have freeze-dried treats. So you got your primary pelleted diet, and they're going to be eaten throughout the day of that. You can feed them then treats that are freeze dried, but it's going to be mainly, some kind of a meat based protein, and as well as fish and salmon and chicken and all sorts of different things, duck and all that. One treat that I really like is the Goodbye Odor Semi-Moist Treats by Marshall, because I love the Goodbye Odor product. The one complaint that I hear from people about ferrets is they stink. There is a product that you can put in their water, and then it also comes in the treat as well. And when you feed this to your ferret, that musky kind of smell that ferrets can give off goes away to the point where, wow, I don't even notice it anymore. Something we get Marshall ferrets in, and I have tried other ferrets from other breeders and just was totally not impressed with what was happening. Other ferrets from other breeders I found were very aggressive, and I'll actually tell you why that probably is. But they were very aggressive, and I found that we couldn't calm them down. We tried to socialize them, and we couldn't get them there. So we've stuck with Marshall. Why is a Marshall ferret critical? And is because Marshall's been doing this, and Marshall is a gentleman, and he started this 80 years ago. He has since passed, but his legacy continues on. Marshall socialized ferrets, and they domesticated them so that they are more on the pet category. On the front end, about 2,000 years ago, ferrets were more rodent hunters for people. So they were, getting the rabbits and the mice and all that, cleaning it up around the barn and the house. Just about 100 years ago or less, they actually were used as a domesticated to actually run wire through walls. So people, this is what they did when they didn't have the technology of today, so that they can run electrical wires through there. I think that's fascinating. I have no idea how they trained them to do that. It seems like the ferret would get lost in the wall, but that's what they did with ferrets. And I'm understanding that the workers would take them home then, and they just had a fun time with them. Well, Marshall said, Sounds like a pet to me. And so he kept on taking the nice ferrets from the litters and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to breed going forward. And so he socialized the ferrets. It's a noticeable difference of a Marshall ferret to all other ferrets because of that breeding. We saw that, like we said at the front of the show, in dog breeds as well. The boxer, the bulldog, all these different breeds were the Boston Terrier were all fighting breeds back in the day, but they've now socialized them over time by picking the nice ones out of the litter. So they did the same thing to ferrets. So Marshall also developed this goodbye odor product. So some people will say, hey, they're just, I quotes from mom over and over again. I love the ferret. My kids love the ferret. I hate the smell. They then start using goodbye odor, and that's what removed the smell from the ferret in a very easy way, because it's a small amount you put in the water. They drink it or they eat the treat, and now that musty smell goes away. All of our ferrets are also, they have one of their scent glands removed, and they're also spayed or neutered. So that's an added benefit on that to reduce the odors and all that kind of stuff. So we just got through food, told you where those ferrets are coming from. We got through some treats. We even have soft food. Oh, let's hit the small babies that you get from us. We get them in right at 8 weeks of age. But they still need some help on their nutrition. So you're going to buy the normal ferret diet in a pelleted form, but you're going to add a little bit of water in there so that they, one, stay very well hydrated, but then they also eat a little bit more as a result, because they just, it seems very attractive when you do that. They just want to drink the whole bowl of it right away. So it's really simple. You take 1/3 of the food, 2/3 of the water, mix it together, and they'll take care of the rest for you. And then throughout the day, you're going to rehydrate it. That you're going to do that from about 8 weeks to about 12, 14 weeks. And you're going to notice that they're going to develop really quickly, get a nice little fat layer on them. They're going to get a real healthy ferret. So that's how you take care of young ferrets. You don't want to if you don't want to do all of that mixing of the water, we also have soft food that you can just get in a can and scoop it out and do it that way. So that's a little bit on the diet. The supplements for a ferret, there are some supplements we have in the store that if you wanted to do more, the premium ferret diet that we have has most of it in there. If you're using something else, chances are it's not as good. And we do have some supplements that you can buy as well for them on that. I said on the treat side, make sure you give them ferret appropriate treats, and then stay away from all that whole, I just feed them cat food stuff. It isn't appropriate. It is not the right stuff for them. Let's see here. I'm just scrolling through a little bit more. Ferret grooming. So grooming of a ferret is nothing more than bathing them about once a month. That's what we did with our ferret. There are ferret shampoos and conditioners out there, and there's even a daily spritz that you can use if you're want to do extra work as far as keeping any kind of odor down. So there's other products out there that you can use as well. Nails need to be trimmed. Again, we do those $5 nail trims at our store if you don't want to do it. But a ferret's nails, I got to say, is pretty easy to cut. They're thin and slender. It's easy to see where that quick is, and so you're not going to get that. And they're fairly easy to do as far as just clipping them through there. But if you don't want to work with that, just bring them into our store. We do those $5 nail trims. If you got them, your ferret from us, it's free. So just bring them in that way. Vaccinations. Our ferrets are already vaccinated up to their age, but you're going to want to continue that on. It's pretty minimal, though. Distemper and rabies are primarily what they're going to need. Your veterinarian can coach you on that. Once you get through their, 14th, 15th week, they're done with vaccinations for the year. Then it's just that annual vaccination of the periodic distemper or rabies, depending on how your veterinarian does it, on their frequency. You're going to just follow on there. Pretty easy stuff as far as all that goes. That keeps your ferret protected and you protected as well, which I think is very important. Let's see here. I think that's it there. Now let's get into the play side of ferrets, and that is, we got about 30 seconds.
A minute.
Okay. get toys for your ferret. And toys go from everything from some meat-based dried meat. We have, little flossies in our store. We got a lot of really cool treats that dogs eat, but the ferret is going to love it just as much. But then you can also get toys that they're going to bat around, make noise and all that. And then there's also tunneling type toys where here I'm holding small animal bear rug. This thing, they're going to be on it, be in it, be under it, and there's just so many things that they can do with it. Ferrets love to burrow, and so that's why toys are great. You're going to want a hammock in there in your spacious cage. Don't scrimp on the cage for a ferret. They need to run around. But put a hammock in there because that's going to be where they're going to sack out and have some fun there. And then I love just being able to walk with your ferret outside. And so we have multiple harnesses of multiple sizes that you can use to walk with your ferret outside. And it is one of those pets where they're going to take you for a walk. They're going to show you where they want to go, but you got them on a harness so that you got some control over them in that way too. So
Positively Petland show Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock on 800 KXIC. Hours of operation, and where are you located?
Sunday, we're open from noon until 6. And then Monday through Saturday, we're open from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. Check us out on our website, petlandiowacity.com. Or go to Facebook, check out what we've got going on there. We got all of our ads and puppies available and all the other things that are going on. So that's just search Petland Iowa City on Facebook and we'll pop right up.
Thanks, Ron. Have a great week.
Thank you.